Welcome to the Ready Set Go podcast. My homegirl Nacya Marreiro back.
Perfect.
Finally. I know. I'm good with your name.
Yes,
I'm pretty
you
good
are.
with names. People fuck mine up all the time, which is ridiculous. It's not that hard. But no, we're just talking about your one woman show, and I was asking what the difference was between that and regular stand up. Because I've obviously heard of people doing one person shows, like other comedians. But I was like, what's the difference? And you were saying that you're playing characters, and there's a burlesque section.
Yeah, there's like a little burlesque act.
Are we getting fully nude
like
here?
Funny.
What are we talking tassels on the?
No, there's no tassel. I know that's where your mind goes, but no.
Well, I mean, burlesque. Come on. In LA,
sexy.
burlesque is a nice way to say stripping.
It's sexy but funny. It's not supposed to be sexual, and it's a lot of storytelling. It's about my life story.
Yeah, but that's the
I'm
thing
excited.
right now in fucking Hollywood. You know, I don't know if you watch the Oscars, but sex work. I know we're not supposed to talk about it because you didn't ask. But like, what was the fucking name of that movie that won Best Picture?
Oh, that musical one? Whatever, Perez?
No, that one Best Picture?
This girl that plays prostitute?
somebody played a prostitute.
What was her name?
Oh, Honora, that one?
Honora, yeah. But all the actors and the producers were thanking the sex workers. And I feel like burlesque is in the same category. I mean, sex worker is just a prostitute. It's just a...
Yeah. But burlesque is not about sex. It's just about selling
Okay, yeah, but I feel like in
sensuality.
LA they would say, like, oh, it's a burlesque club and it's just a titty bar. You know, like...
Oh,
you know how
yeah.
You know how they like rename stuff to try and make it sound classier?
That sucks.
They do that to neighborhoods that are like being gentrified, you know?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, especially back east. I'm sure they do it out here. Like, I'm sure there's sections of, South Central Los Angeles that are being fucking gentrified, and they're calling it, instead of South Central, they're calling it, something else, some other fancy
Yeah,
name.
like Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's like a famous neighborhood now in Brooklyn called Dumbo, and that was just Red Hook when I was a kid. They just changed the name so people forget that, like, oh, that
used to be
the
bad.
shitty neighborhood. Yeah.
What have you been up to? I haven't seen you for so long.
I know, man. I've been fucking busy working, mostly day work, unfortunately. But it's good. I switched jobs.
You switched jobs again?
Yep. Working from home. It's better.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And we're raising money, so it's just another startup. So I was just
That's amazing.
busy trying to raise them $12 million, but we're getting there. So
That sounds pretty good to me.
yeah, well, it's not my money, and I don't get to keep it all.
Okay, so who's
I don't get to keep most of it, actually.
Who's giving you this money just for research purposes?
Yeah,
Are
do you
they
have their
single?
emails? Right? Are they singles?
Do you have their email? Maybe a picture?
You still looking for work?
Yeah.
Permanently?
I am.
I feel like that's every comic though, unless you're like a A-lister.
Unless you make it.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand, because people say, "Oh my God, you're fucking killing it. I see you everywhere." It's still not enough.
Yeah,
like it's not enough
not-
to survive in LA. Like you need.
It's really feast or famine is the term, right? Like either you're fucking a millionaire in comedy or you're nobody.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing in between.
There's nothing
You're
in
starving
between.
until you're a regular.
There's a reason even the best actors you see out here all own liquor companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not making enough acting.
Yeah.
That is a thing out here. Everyone has a fucking tequila company or a gin company.
That's true.
Maybe you should start a liquor brand. Yeah, well, what do you? I mean, start your own business. Fuck a job. Get your own thing going. A little side hustle.
I know. I really need to go deep
and
into
not
it,
the typical
but
fucking internet, sex work as they call it.
I would not
No.
do that. Thank you very much.
No, I know, we talked
Salma
about
Hayek married a billionaire who's like the
Yeah.
owner of Gucci, Balenciaga. I need one of those.
Well, that's the thing. It's funny that even rich women will marry up.
Of course.
Like
yeah.
Beyonce didn't marry. She married another billionaire.
Yeah.
Like, even Beyonce
Crazy.
has to marry a guy with more money.
Do you know something? I don't even, like, when I think about these things, like, I talk a lot and I like talk shit like this, but I don't give a fuck. I really don't care.
About what?
Like, my male friend, about how much money a guy makes.
Yeah.
If I can make money myself, because even when I have somebody that I'm dating, they pay everything for me. It's nice, but it's like I kind of want to have my own. Like I don't want to.
You don't
have
want to be beholden. You're
Yeah.
essentially an indentured servant to your significant other.
Yeah.
If they have all the resources and you have to depend on them.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's not
awful.
a good feeling. It's not a good dynamic in any
It's not.
relationship.
I agree.
You want to feel equal. You want to feel like you're both bringing something to the table.
Yeah.
So that way you enjoy each other's company as opposed to fear losing one another.
Yeah.
Because that just builds resentment and then the relationship's over. Once the resentment ball starts rolling down the hill, it snowballs and it's fucking done.
That's very true. Look at you. I didn't know you're that smart.
Well, at the age. It's not smart. It's wisdom.
It's
you
life.
fuck up or not. Guys tend to value physical attraction the way that women, appreciate men with resources. And if you've been down that path enough, you realize that's not enough, right?
Yeah.
Like if you've dated guys with money before when you were younger and you didn't like the way it made you feel because you were asking for money, women learn like, oh, I'm going to stop doing that. You know,
Yeah.
like, and if a guy dates a few hot girls and realizes that there's more to a good relationship than just how good she looks.
Yeah.
Like if you hate being around her or hate the sound of her voice, it's like
Yeah.
no matter how hot she is,
Yeah.
People are gonna get frustrated. So that's one of those lessons I feel like in life you have to learn the hard way. Like if you've had attractive girlfriends, you realize that that's not the end all be all, and then you're like, okay, I want a girl who I find attractive, but I also like talking to when we're not having sex. You know, like when we're not hooking up. I like being around them. Yeah. That's a good relationship.
I think guys that choose girls like that is just guys that've been fucking losers, all their life. They don't understand.
And you see that even now. Like, look at Jeff Bezos. I mean, the guy's, the second richest guy in the world, and he traded out his wife, who was a good woman, for, a hotter chick. And I get it, but he was a fucking nerd. Like, he didn't get that lesson, in his mid-20s, like most other fucking men, hopefully get to experience. That's the scary part when you're in your mid-50s and you start learning that stuff. It's like, wait a minute, now you have all these resources and you don't know any of that. Like you didn't make that mistake. Like now the damage you can do is way bigger. I'm
so glad you said that, because that's how I think. Like sometimes, like I left home when I was very young, and I used to be like, fuck, I wish I had like rich parents, or I wish I found a way to make shit happen that I didn't have to worry about paying my rent and all this shit. And I'm so glad that all those fucked up things happened to me when I was like 18, 19, 21. I would not be able to survive in fucking Hollywood if my life was just a breeze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's like, I made it here. It will be fine.
Well, yeah, you can go down the wrong road and it's harder to come back. Because that is a tough thing to get used to. Like, it's hard to give up a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like if you were wealthy and they're like, all right, let me go be poor again to start into comedy. It's like, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't have much to lose and there's more to gain, it's like, well, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. It allows you to take more risks. And when you're fucking young, man, you have time. Yeah. And that's the most valuable resource. I mean, everybody can make more money, like nobody can make more time.
Yeah.
That's what's valuable. Like what are you doing with the time you got and the time you have left, That's
very smart.
Look
at you.
I try,
You're fine. I didn't know this side of you.
I espouse these things because I try to remind myself to live up to them.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because everybody I mean, we're all... Listen, my favorite thing to be in this whole world is a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Most people, like you want other people to act one way, but you want to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way, but if I say this shit publicly, I kind of have to live up to it, right? Because then people are like, hey, didn't you say you were, or I thought you were this kind of way. I'm like, oh fuck, like it kind of forces, it backs you up into having to live by the code you espouse, right? If you don't tell anybody your beliefs, then no one's going to hold you to any standard.
I agree.
So it's one of those things. I'm kind of tricking the world into holding me accountable for my bullshit.
I agree.
Because I am very full of shit.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, look, like I said, we all love to be hypocrites, I mean,
every time I met you, you were always very straightforward and honest.
Yeah, I try to be. But like I said, that's the thing. Like I have to. That's a constant effort. Oh, Oslo found it.
My dog
he found a bone from another dog.
Look at him. He's trying to hide it now.
He saw Mike Nell and he ran. Little bastard. But yeah, that's the thing. I try to be honest, but you have to constantly do it. It's not like, it's not like it doesn't take any effort, because lying is way easier. You don't have to fucking, it's way easier in the moment, to like bullshit somebody.
Do don't you feel
But
like...
it's harder to keep it up. That's the thing.
When you learn all these things and you learn how to read people, don't you get so exhausted? Like, I cannot spend... Yeah. I just hate not making new friends, but I just hate meeting people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't have patience for all the chit chat and all this shit.
I swear to God, Nacya, I was talking about it last week on the show because I read an article that people with higher IQs tend to not like small talk because it's just they're like, what the fuck are we like? This is pointless. I'm wasting time. Like you said, getting to know a stranger that I'm never going to talk to again. What's the point?
Yeah.
But there's also the thing like. It's annoying, so you kind of tend to avoid it, and then you kind of come off like aloof, or you could come off as,
autistic. You just come off as being rude.
That's a good excuse. That's sorry, it's my autism.
As being kind of rude, but
yeah, exactly.
I get it. I just don't have patience. I don't have patience. I don't know. And something, I'm actually comfortable with not having many friends. I have like. I consider you a good friend of mine. But I think you can see it from me. Like, I'm always very abrupt, and I always vomit
you say what's on your mind. I know you're not going to bullshit me. You'll tell me what you really think, and I value that because a lot of people don't, especially in this town. They'll fucking kiss your ass, or just be polite for the sake of being polite, but then trash you behind your back.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that.
And just fucking. if I know what you really think, I know where you stand. You know, like
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I could like, all right, I trust that person, or I don't, or I can. That's the kind of person I can be friends with, so I can't. And it's fine. At least, even if I disagree with you, at least I respect you. You know,
I tell everyone that they're great, and my close friends know that I'm lying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Your good friends give you the harsh truth. It's like, hey, man, that's not right, or I disagree with what you did. But people who aren't that close to you won't say shit. You know, they don't want to. They don't want because people don't want to fucking ruffle feathers for no reason. You know, like they don't. Most people don't like conflict, so they avoid it.
They don't like
confrontation or conflict. Yeah. You know. Oh, and by that they won't say what's on their mind. It's like, well, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that doesn't mean
there's a way. Like I mean, I feel like it's kind of complicated, but there's a way to be confrontational. It doesn't need to be an argument. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people don't know how to do that.
It's impossible this day and age with the way.
Dude, I'm so exhausted because from the time I was married of like fights that if I'm in any type of relationship, even like professional friendship, and there's like somebody raising their voice at me or something, for me, like, you're done. Like, there's not even a chance to like you're done.
Yeah, that's one of the scary truths about having been in relationships and getting out of them, and just sort of the more standards you set, the lower your bar for patience is.
I know.
You know, like the longer I'm single, the more likely it is I'm not going to be with someone, because I'm not going to put up with their shit. It's like you know, like I know what I value, I know what I don't, and some things I can like just disagree with. Like you were saying, like people can't just disagree anymore. It's like I have friends I disagree with about certain things, and we just disagree on that. I don't hate them. I don't not talk to them. Yeah, we disagree on that topic. Okay, I still love you. You're still a friend of mine. You know,
exactly. Like, but I think like disagreeing is a thing. It's a personal thing.
Yeah, if you disagree with one thing, it's like the person is ruined. It's like, no, I just disagree with this idea you have. The rest, you're a good person otherwise. You're a fine person otherwise. I just don't think the same way you do about this topic. But people have a hard time, like it's either nowadays it's like you either subscribe to everything or you get nothing. Same thing with relationships. Like I want a guy or a girl with all these things, or I'm not going to do it. It's like, motherfucker, like 85%. If you get along, you should be happy with that. You got to figure out the other 15% you can work around it. You know, like
I agree.
But people are just fucking short tempered. And I feel like the longer you stay single, the less likely it is that you're going to put up with other people's shit. But if you find someone that you do like, you do make it worthwhile. You know, like all right. I think.
That's how I feel. I don't know. My parents are like, when are you going to have a baby? And I'm like, ugh.
I know. Do you have siblings?
I have an older brother.
Does he have kids?
Yeah, he has 2 kids.
Oh, then fucking don't worry. They got grandkids. Tell them.
No, but they want to see me. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure it also I'm sure in Portuguese culture that making sure your daughter's going to be fine and taken care of as a father.
Yeah, they want that.
A traditional thing, that kind of shit. But.
Yeah, they're very traditional, old school. So I'm kind of like the black sheep.
Yeah. Have you been back since I last saw you, Portugal?
No.
Okay. By the way, how did you were on your way over there to do some shows? How'd those shows go? Weren't you?
That was, I think, in August last year.
Yeah. I don't think you've been
my
here,
God.
Right?
I did this TV show called Levanta-te.
Okay.
And I did 15 minutes of Portuguese stand-up.
How'd it go?
So it was tough. So I was the only woman. Okay. And the first 5 minutes also I did it in a small town, like in a more traditional town. And, they have, how can I say? Imagine if I went to Kill Tony.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they have like the type of people that do jokes about sex and stuff like that. And for me, the only people who do jokes about sex are people who are not having sex. You know what I mean? Like that's it. So.
Well, that belies my act. Okay.
I can tell, but
I'd probably say about half my jokes about sex. Most of them about me being a fucking asshole.
But the first 5 minutes was weird. So they were shooting it.
Okay.
They were shooting it, and I grew up watching this when I was a kid. I would say up
so
until
a long-running variety show. Okay.
Yeah, I grew up watching this TV show. I couldn't wait to do it. Like when I was a kid, I would dream about it, and I got to do stand up with some of the people that I watched on TV growing up.
That's really cool.
And one of them told me, "Hey, just so you know, the Portuguese crowd are not used to women
comics
doing comedy. Women that's like they look like you. Yeah. So it might be a bit tough because there's a lot of couples and families here. And I just thought that is so old school. Like women are not gonna treat me bad just because
Yeah.
First 5 minutes, and they were like. Also, before I went on stage, they were like, don't be moving around the stage. Just stay in one center because of the cameras. And then don't get out of the script. You have your script. Don't get out of it.
Okay.
But I love improvising.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who just sticks to that shit, right? Yeah. But I was like, okay, that's fine. So I got all these things in my head. I go up. This was an arena.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this was a fucking arena.
That's sick.
First 5 minutes, silence.
Oh, God.
You don't understand. I thought, is there something wrong with my fucking mic? I look back, my best friend, Vera, she's like holding my bag and she's looking at me like this.
Oh, no.
She's like so fucking scared. But you know something? If this was maybe 10 years ago, I would be like shocked.
Start to panic,
Probably, run away from stage. I stepped forward and I looked in the crowd and I start laughing. And then I addressed that there was a lot of couples in the crowd, and I made a joke about, you know, how women behaved when they have their period versus men when they have a cold, you know?
Yeah.
So then I gained the woman, right?
Yeah.
I won the woman over, and then it went smooth.
Okay, good.
But I got off the script, and then it ended okay.
Yeah, did they give you a little bit of shit about that?
No, and I don't give a fuck.
Okay. Yeah, well, you got to save your set.
You see, like, I love Portuguese people very much, but the thing is that the old school Portuguese man is very machismo, you know?
Okay, yeah.
And they think, like, I know better. They're very condescending, and I don't fuck with that.
Okay.
And that gives me a lot of
that's
anger.
That's the culture over there. I can't imagine you, meshing well with that, taking shit from guys all the time.
No, I don't, and that's why I'm the...
That's why you left.
That's why I left, and that's why I'm the black sheep of my family. Because I get... Do you know something? I'm actually grateful about that. I was thinking about this the other day because I get so much fucking anger from this shit. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I didn't dream about going to Disneyland or like being, when I grow up, I'm going to get married and have kids and a dog. I would fucking dream about being strong and beating my dad's ass. I'll be like, I'm going to fucking chokehold you.
You want to beat your dad?
Yeah,
I was kick your dad's ass?
I was like, I can't fucking wait. Because I grew up getting beat up by my dad. And he was like verbally abusive. He would like be really nice to me one day, then the next day, like, you know. So it was very like, I never knew what was happening. And even to this day, we fight, you know? And I said, dude, you got cancer and you're lucky because I was...
Oh my God.
Like, I dream about choke holding you. Like, I dream about this. You don't understand.
Did
like,
your brother ever get into it with your dad?
Once my dad was hitting me and my brother did protected me once.
Okay.
But you know, I don't think that's right. Do I think it's right? No. Do I want it? Yes.
Well, I mean, have you spoken to your dad about it now that you're an adult? Like,
No,
hey,
you can't.
Can we
You
not
can't.
be so combative?
No, you
know,
can't.
Like, I'm,
You
I'm a
cannot.
grown woman now. We're not. This is. I'm not a
You
teenager
cannot.
anymore.
That's the thing.
I'm living on my own.
You
know.
can't. It's
Okay.
my dad will. I think my dad feels very guilty. He didn't have the means to give me the life I deserved. You know, I didn't go to college. I didn't do all these things, and I think the way he doesn't have self-awareness. So the way he deals with the blame is by pointing the finger at me and saying, oh, you're the one who left and you're the one, you know what I mean? So we get into a fight and I try to have a conversation with him. I'm like, you have to understand that I'm not going to be your little girl forever. You have to understand that I'm not somebody that you can control. I'm not a submissive person, and you don't deal with it by calling names and saying, you can't. It's like talking to a wall.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of ironic, though, because I would think, you know, look, I obviously have the benefit of fucking, not hindsight, but knowing the story and just being of a different generation than your dad. I would imagine if I had a daughter and she was strong and independent and living on her own, I'd be happy about that. You know, like that she's not dependent on a man, that she's not dependent on me or another guy, her husband or boyfriend, whatever, you know, that she's doing it on her own. I, as a father, I'd be like, look, I fucking, you know, she's a strong woman who could stand on her own 2 feet, you know, but it just strikes me as odd that like he can't see that. He thinks it's like a problem. You know?
He doesn't. I think honestly my parents are terrified of me because I think no, I really do, because I left home when I was 18 and I've figured out how to live on my own. I was in all these different countries. I was in the Middle East as a flight attendant.
You're saying you're like in Sweden and shit, and the Middle East and all over the place.
And I learned English by myself. They don't understand, like, what the fuck? Like, you know, my parents have the 4th grade. They only been to the 4th grade in school. So they don't understand. Like, it's scary.
Have they visited the States yet?
Never. They never visit anywhere I've been.
Oh, right.
They don't they don't travel.
That's crazy. That I feel like that's so important for people to like get out and see the way other people live, to just give you some perspective. Well, I mean, one, it makes me appreciate, you know, living here. You know, I mean, like, no place is perfect, but you go to other countries, like, fuck, man, at least it's not, you know, like that.
Yeah.
You know, like fuck, you know, you can't chew gum in Singapore. They'll fucking arrest you for being, you know, for saying something against the government if you're in the Middle East, whatever. You know, like there's different places like that. So
but
you're
you know,
kind of thankful. But
there's,
you know.
I think each place has its own good things. Like,
Yeah.
if you're in Abu Dhabi, even though there's people who are poor and stuff as well, if I leave my bag outside in the coffee shop and I go inside to the bathroom, it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
No one's going to steal anything from me.
Fucking behead you.
Yeah.
the rules are a little more strict, you know. Yeah.
So
they have some rules over there.
We're tough on crime.
Tell you, very tough on crime. Speaking of which, I won't ask you about your your immigration status, but are you concerned?
I'm legal.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't seem like they're sweeping everybody. It seems like
like,
especially if you leave and come back. That's the thing. So a lot of people, even to Europe, like they're bothering people coming back from Germany. You know, like,
do you know what scares me?
So I'm wondering if you're concerned about, like, do you think you can not go back to Portugal while he's in office?
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, I came to realize a lot of people don't know the law.
That's what I'm saying. They don't just snatch you up and figure out later.
Yeah, and I don't want to go through that because it's very stressful. Like, for example,
expensive. And you have to hire lawyers and God knows, you know.
Yeah, and it's expensive. For example, I had a lawyer who gave me, I'm not going to talk about in details, but she was like so sure, and she gave me the complete wrong information. And then I got fucked. And then I had another lawyer who was an immigration lawyer give me the wrong information as well. And then thank God I found a way to talk to somebody who introduced me to somebody that introduced me to somebody else and gave me the right information regarding this. But it's like, I've been through customs before where I had issues, even though my paperwork was right, because they didn't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Who the fuck knows when you file your shit? And then where the fuck did they put it? You know, like
the thing is that they talk very badly with you. They're very intimidating and rude, and then you feel like nervous because you don't know what's happening and you don't have the information, and then they just act like it's not. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're fine, bye." It's like, you just fucking give me a heart attack.
Yeah,
and now
I'm like, I want to be detained and put somewhere in El Salvador.
Yeah, and I travel with my dog. Imagine if they took my dog from me, I would fucking kill myself.
God, yeah.
I don't want to go through that.
That's the thing about fucking lawyers, doctors, man.
I mean, lawyers, by the way, it's not like something that costs $200, $300. You give them a deposit of like
thousands of dollars.
It's thousands of dollars, and then even if you send them an email, they will charge you $100 to answer to that email.
Yeah, they rack it up quick. They get paid very handsomely, and that's the thing about doctors and lawyers. I was telling that to a buddy of mine because he'd got some information from a doctor, and he's like, "Yeah, well, the doctor told me that this was going on with me, so he must be right." And I'm like, "No, man, you got to get a second opinion."
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? He's a doctor. He knows what he's talking about. I'm like, his name is Chase. I'm like, Chase, do you know how many fucking C student and D student doctors there are out there? Mm-hmm. You know how many fucking, like, who just barely made it out of medical school?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking doctors, man. Like, you want to get you want to see, go to somebody else who might have more credentials in that space to be right and understand what the real problem is. Like just because you have a lab coat or a law degree, it doesn't mean you're fucking smart. There's a lot of people, a lot of fucking dummies out there with law degrees. You know what I'm saying? I went to a great college. You know how many fucking moron friends of mine graduated? I'm like, how the fuck did that idiot get? Like, again, now he's a surgeon. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I hope, I'll get a second opinion knowing that guy can be a surgeon, There
was this girl that I went to school with that she was like the dumbest in our class. She was like so fucking dumb. And in Portugal it's different than in America. Like when you go to high school, you have to choose already what you're going to be.
Oh, they pick a trade while going into high school?
Yeah. For example, I thought I wanted to be in architecture. So I studied arts, right? Okay. So she was in arts for 3 fucking years. The last year, you do an exam of everything you've learned, and then you go to college if you have enough grades.
Oh, okay. So like a qualifying test.
Yeah. So she was so dumb that every time she spoke, people were like, ugh, you know what I mean? It was just really weird. She decided, I want to be a nurse, so I'm going to go do the exams for science. And I'm like, that's insane. She memorized the book. You don't understand. This was somebody who doesn't have common sense. Yeah. She memorized the book and she passed. So she's a nurse.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people out there like that. Your fucking dentist got, a D+ and somehow managed to get a diploma. It's like, that guy, come on. This is my fucking, or you somebody who does eye surgery. It's like, I'm not going to fucking go blind because some guy just barely made it out of fucking medical school.
I know, that's crazy.
You want to go talk to, get a couple more opinions on that. And look, I know that myself. Like, I consider myself, fairly intelligent. I don't know fucking anything about most subjects. So I know how dumb I am. I got to imagine most people are fucking dumber than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just compared to, it's like, I don't know that. It's like, then this person definitely doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to take all that shit with a grain of salt. Fucking trusting people, it's tough.
It's so fucking scary.
So, especially like when your life or your freedom comes into play.
It's scary.
Yeah, but you're good for a little while. The paperwork's all in.
Everything's good.
Okay.
I'm just don't feel comfortable traveling.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The leaving and then coming back might be a problem. So you might have to stay a while.
I was going to go.
Sounds like you don't want to visit your dad. So.
Right.
So for the next 3.5 years, you're good. I can't leave, Pop. I'm unable to come back.
I got invited to do a show in August, so I wanted to go and take advantage to see my dad. But I think my dad. Do you know what it is with the men in my family? I think they feel very emasculated by me because I know how to do a lot of things that they can't, like read. And no, I was just being a bitch, but I think they just don't understand. Like that's what it is. So they get mad, you know.
Do you think your relationship with your dad, I mean, this is a loaded question, but do you think your relationship with your dad plays into your relationship with guys?
I think it used to.
Okay.
I think it used to a lot. And I think like after my divorce, I've learned that. I've learned the whole cycle. Do you know what I mean? I've learned that I was addicted to somebody like love bombing me in one day, the other day act like I don't exist.
Which sounds like with your dad, because you were saying that he would, he was nice to you, but then he'd be fucking crazy one day, kind of bipolar about it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you were able to break the cycle.
I was able to break the cycle. If somebody acts like that now, for me, it's over. Okay. Because it's not even about me. I think, dude, if I have children, they're going to go through that shit. I don't want that. Yeah, so it's not even about me anymore. That's how I think. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't want to have kids. is because,
I want to have kids.
We'll get into that. But I didn't because I was like, I don't think I want to put my shit on them the way my dad put shit on me. But also, I don't think like the world is going to be a better place for them than it has been for me. So why would I? I love my unborn children so much they're going to stay unborn. Like this is not a good place, and I might not be the right parent for them.
That makes sense. I think you would be a great dad.
Oh, thank you. People say that, but you got to want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you shouldn't be a parent. In my opinion, it should be intentional.
I think you would be a great dad.
Thank you. But you want kids, you said?
Yeah, I want kids.
Okay, girls, boys.
I would like to have.
I'm sure one of each.
2 boys and 1 girl.
2 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
You think you'd love the boys more? Is that why you want 2?
No, I just want them to protect the little girl. I want her.
That's like your dad.
I want her to be the princess of the house.
Okay, is that you? Did you grow up the princess?
I kind of did grow up the princess. Yeah, because my
and
parents.
Then you let them down when you left to America.
No, I think. Do you know something? Jokes? No, it's not just that. I think. You know something? There's some study about this, and I don't know how to verbalize it very well. But for men, it's very weird for them to have their little girl turn into a woman, and they feel very uncomfortable with her sexuality and her body changing. I mean, of
course, because you know how men are. You're worried that a guy like you is gonna, meet your daughter because you know what you did as a guy.
Exactly.
How fucking selfish and myopic and small-minded you were, and how either good or bad you were to women. Like you want to think of them as untouched and pristine, and it's unrealistic.
What are you eating, dude?
Is that little bone?
Hold on. He's eating the fucking ball.
Oslo making his appearance on the podcast. His second appearance of this episode.
Except he swallows this and then.
Oh no! And they can be throwing it up in your bed.
Yeah, I don't want that. One time he ate a whole tampon, and I was like, "How the fuck?"
Was it clean or dirty?
It was dirty.
Oh.
He loves it. He's like,
what is with dogs and eating this shit?
He's like, I don't want this expensive food, but some tampon with blood. Yes.
My old dog used to like steal my ex-girlfriend's panties and shit. Like
they just love the taste of pussy.
No, but like particularly when they're on their period, it's like it's like dogs like the foul smell of things. Like
is it the blood stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, it must be the menstruation. I mean, I don't know. Has he eaten your underwear before, the little bastard?
Oh yeah, he does. I locked my room. No, we'll just eat it.
Oh god.
Even if tampon. I take a shower and my stuff is on the floor and it's not dirty.
Wait, how did he get the tampon?
Because
Please tell me it was in the trash.
It was in the trash. Okay. I had an open trash.
He didn't get it from the source.
Randy, you're such a pervert.
You woke up one day like, what are you doing, buddy?
That's crazy. This is what he jerks off to. He's just like,
with a belt around my neck.
I would never think of such things. This is crazy.
It's a problem. This is my mind is broken.
Yeah, for sure. I can tell.
But he dug it out of the trash?
No, because the trash was open. Now I have a closed trash.
Did he get sick?
No. And something?
I would think that would make you sick.
He did this twice. I didn't.
He's a repeat offender?
I didn't realize, and I saw something on the floor, and then I see him like this. And I go, what the fuck? And then I see it's a tampon. And I thought he just picked it up. And then I realized, this is in his stomach. Like,
he like threw it back up?
Twice.
Oh my God. I can't think of a more disgusting thing a dog could throw up than a dirty tampon. What do you think that smells like, Mikey? Just pennies and vomit?
That's crazy.
It'd be more disturbing if it wasn't your brand.
Yeah.
Damn.
Where'd you get this tampon, Oslo? He stole it from the neighbor's trash.
I'm a pad girl.
That's so fucking
Gross.
gross.
Yeah, he had a maxi pad. I don't even wear maxi pads. Where'd you get this?
That's so disgusting. Thank God.
How old is he now?
He turned 7 in February.
All right, so
Old enough to knock it the fuck
yeah.
off.
Oh yeah, old
Right?
enough not to be eating fucking
But
dirty
he
tampons.
looks like a puppy still.
He does. He does. Good looking pup.
He is.
Are you
No, I'm not.
not what?
You gonna ask if I'm gonna chop his balls?
Well, I thought it might help with the eating of the tampon.
It definitely would help.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the question.
It definitely will help.
And look, I'm not one of these guys that thinks you have to, chop your dog's nuts off.
No,
Remember,
no.
when I was a kid, dogs just had nuts.
Yeah, they just have nuts.
And there were stray dogs too. Like even in New York City, there was just stray dogs.
Yeah.
Now, you don't see any stray dogs anymore.
No, you don't.
They got rid of that. Maybe in Portugal, but certainly not in the U.S.
In Portugal, yes.
Like when I was a kid, that was a job, dog catcher. Like you'd work for the city and just catch stray dogs all
That's
day.
fucked up. No, I'm not gonna chop his balls. I just chop men's balls.
I
I let my dog.
Men?
Yeah, I let my
Okay.
dog keep theirs.
I don't think you'd like a guy with no balls. I don't think that's your style.
You're right.
You think he's like, oh, what an asshole. Like what a fucking jerk.
No, I don't want an asshole. I want like a Doberman guy. You know what I mean? Who's nice to me and mean to everybody else.
Mean to everybody.
I like that.
You want a security guard?
I think guys think that in order, that girls want to be bossed around and shit. I don't.
Some guy. I mean, I feel like that's a thing going on now in the manosphere on the internet. Girls want to be dominated. I mean, no, girls want to feel secure.
They want to feel safe.
Yeah, they want to feel safe. They don't want to be told what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want a guy to be a pushover, but they don't want him to be cruel for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And if a woman does, she's a little fucked in the head, and she probably shouldn't be dating her.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
It's a little bizarre. But yeah, you don't seem like the kind of gal that wants a guy to be controlling towards you or anything like that. I feel like you get annoyed with it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think, do you know something? I just get so much anger and I'm trying to figure out where this comes from. Like, I don't want, like, if somebody talks to me like that, I get so fucking annoyed. I was coming from San Diego. I did a few shows in Laugh Factory.
Okay.
And I was walking around my building and this guy is like following me in the car and I thought.
That's creepy.
I know. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm just being paranoid, whatever. I grab my pepper spray just in case. And I'm walking and he stops the car next to me and he goes, hey. And I go, hey, what, motherfucker?
You went from 0 to 10 immediately.
I got so pissed so fast. I'm like, keep walking. I'm like so ghetto too. And I'm like, I don't even know why I reacted that way. But it made me so mad that you think you can fucking follow me? Like, how scary is that?
That is fucking crazy.
It got worse. So he starts laughing. He drives off, right?
Okay.
And I'm walking my dog. So I'm like, we cool. I go around. Then I see like, I feel like something is approaching me. So I look back. It's him again. And he goes,
Wow.
hey.
He got rejected and came back?
3 times.
Wow.
So
also creepily. I mean, like
super creepy.
Yeah.
Second time I go, excuse me. I didn't even let him speak none of the times, by the way. I go, excuse me, I took a picture of your damn car. Get out before I call the police. He drives off again.
Okay.
Then I'm turning the building. I'm going inside my building. I open the door and he's like, hey. And I'm like, are you fucking crazy? But now I'm scared. So I just walked.
I'm actually threatened.
I'm actually scared. I'm like, oh shit. So I just closed the door and I went inside. But for me, it's like, I realize how small I am and I'm mad that men talk to me like this and approach me like this, which is so annoying.
Well,
I don't like that.
You can look on the bright side though, because I was just reading an article. Apparently, Gen Z, like more than half of them, have never approached a woman in person.
Oh yeah,
that's
I know.
out of style. So it sounds like you're still getting approached in person. I don't know how old this guy was.
I don't know, and I don't give a shit. And I don't remember. But sometimes, like I can go to restaurants alone, which I love to do that.
Yeah.
No one approaches me. They just let me.
Well, I mean, that's also a power move. Sometimes people get weird about that. Like, okay, I couldn't imagine going to dinner alone or a movie
I love
alone.
it.
It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
It's
who gives a
amazing.
fuck? I'll go anywhere I want when I want to go. Like,
Yeah.
If I want to go I'll sit at the bar and eat by myself. I'm more than happy to do that.
I love it so much.
Yeah, you got to get comfortable with yourself, or else you're never gonna fucking be comfortable with other people. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
I love going alone everywhere.
Yeah,
Sometimes-
well, then you're on your own schedule. You don't got to worry about any of those.
have to worry, I don't-
Oh, let's go do this. No, I don't want to do that. You don't have to have that conversation.
I don't have to entertain.
Yeah.
I meet some nice girls that are like, they are like fans, and then they kind of like, they try hard to be my friends, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But I get overwhelmed with that sometimes. And I'm trying to understand why the fuck am I like this? Because sometimes they're just being nice. And I'm like, for example, I I need to post by a certain time, so I'm checking a video to post.
Yeah.
And then something is happening, or I'm getting an email, and they keep talking to me, and I'm looking at my phone, and I'm just like, dude,
I'm in the middle of something.
I'm like in the middle, like. If you see me on my phone, I would never be scrolling and hanging out with you. So if I'm on my phone, means I'm working.
You're doing something, yeah.
And like, it just drives me crazy. I'm like, wow, I'm a fucking bitch. I should have behaved like that. But
No, well, I mean, sometimes people can be a little bit too needy towards you. You know, like, it's like, I'm the same way in a lot of ways. Like, I need a lot of alone time. It's like,
Me too.
Like, fucking, like, oh, let's go do this. If I'm going on a hike, like, no, I want to do this one alone. Like, what I'm saying? I'm going to go for 2 hours and, get a little workout in and clear my head. I don't want to have a conversation with anybody. Like, sometimes you need time to yourself.
I feel like it's a struggle between.
Randy can't jerk off in the woods with the crowd.
That's right. That's right. I need solitude when I'm beating off outdoors.
Do you have your vape?
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have you quit smoking yet? No?
Just sometimes.
Sometimes.
I think it's so weird because I'm in this space where it's like, and I think you're going to relate to this, where it's like, I kind of want to have my group of friends, but I really enjoy being alone too. Yeah. Like, I really love being alone to a point that I'm like, oh, I'm never going to meet anybody because all I do is do comedy. I run from the comedy club, come home, and hang out with my dog. Like, I don't actually do anything besides. Sometimes I go out to dinner by myself, but I don't do anything that would help me meet people unless they come to me.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I mean, and as you, like I said 1,000 times, as you get older, at least for me, like, I just stop doing things I don't want to do. And if it's, like you said, if it's socially taxing to me, like, oh, fuck, I got to, like, go be on and I don't want to be on if it's not for comedy, or if it's like, well, let's go do this. Like,
Where do you live now? Which area?
I still live in West Hollywood. Yeah. Why?
I was just wondering.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you, so are you the kind of gal that when you are in a relationship, do you like conflict in a relationship?
No, I hate it.
Okay. Because it seems like you can get very confrontational.
No, this is how it is with me. With for example, my family, I try to talk to them in a normal way. Like, what I do is I say, I understand because of this, or I don't understand what you're saying because of this, but my goal is us two against the problem.
Yeah.
This is not about you being right or me being right. I want to understand how can we get over this. So I get very uncomfortable if somebody raises their voice at me or they're like trying to dominate me. Mm-hmm. Like, if somebody tries to dominate me, that upsets me. Like, I'm not gonna fight, but it's like getting a ick.
Okay.
I'm so old and grumpy now that if somebody disrespects me, it's like, I don't want to have nothing to do with you ever again. I don't give a fuck if you apologize to me. This is over. Okay. Like, our friendship, our love, whatever it is. Like, I just don't have patience anymore. I want to be happy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not confrontational. If I'm in a relationship, I try to work things out. Yeah. Because even if I'm fucking pissed, even, like, let's say, if I was dating you and there's a super hot chick and you couldn't stop but like stare at it and it was kind of like weird and disrespectful to me, I would not say anything in the moment. I would wait for us to get home and be like, that chick was fucking hot. But, look at it, but don't like follow with your eyes, because that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, that's for me personally, that was a big thing in that same way as you. Like, I used to joke about it on stage. I was like, growing up with my dad, he's a Latin guy, and he used to tell me as a kid, men are only allowed two emotions: anger and coming. Because
that's
like,
funny.
because it's like, you don't want to be vulnerable as a man. You can't be sad. You can't be confused. You can't be upset. It was just, if you don't know what to, if you weren't, happy, then just be angry. Like, being sad about something or being, frustrated or depressed, that was seen as weakness. At least in my head.
Your dad would see me as a man.
Yeah, exactly. But in my head, right? Mm-hmm. But I had to sort of break that because, like, no, don't, because I would get angry and if something didn't go my way. And then I'd be angry for, weeks, and then I'd finally get sad about something that happened I didn't want.
And every time he'd cry, he'd come.
Yeah, every time I'd cry, I'd come, and I'd start jerking off, and it'd cause a problem.
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time. Every time I jerk off.
One sad movie, and I fucked in my pants.
But it would just extend how long it took to get over whatever the problem was.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, maybe if I just allow myself to feel what I really feel, not start with anger and end up at that place, it'll shorten it. And it works, but that's the big thing is putting space between it. Like, if your boyfriend disrespects you in that kind of situation and you guys got into it on the street, I think arguing in the street is
it's
fucking
ridiculous.
Children. It's beneath. It's low life shit. Like, I think very little people who like have it out in the street like that. like fucking a couple Puerto Rican teenagers in the Bronx in heat. It's like, what are you doing?
It's crazy.
Grow up.
I agree.
But if you give space and then you have a conversation about it, you can approach it with less anger. So you can actually try to resolve whatever the problem is, or at least explain why you felt the way. Or at least give you time to think, why did I feel that way about the situation? It's not that he looked at the girl. It's that that he was ogling her in front of me and I felt disrespected. That's what's bothering me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think, something that I realize is that I want fucking peace. Like, people don't know comedy, the industry is already so difficult.
Yeah.
And always like trying to survive in Hollywood is difficult. I want to be happy. I don't want to be fucking stressed out with stupid shit.
Yeah.
And also, because I was married all my 20s, I just don't have time for bullshit. Don't fucking lie to me, because I can read you from a mile away. Like, I don't have patience.
Oh, and you also don't want to. You've gone down that path. Like, I don't need to learn that lesson a second time.
Grown up couples.
I don't want to do it again.
Grown up couples who fight like that in public. That's their kink. Like, that's their foreplay.
Yeah. Oh, there are.
So they can go home.
I'm sure you know plenty of people like this where couples
crazy
love to argue together. That's a thing.
Yeah.
There are definitely couples out there that the conflict is a fundamental part of their relationship. They love to argue and make up.
That's a cycle. That's a toxic.
Yeah, it's a very
cycle.
Yeah, and they'll be together forever and fucking. It's just those are people I cut out of my life or keep away from me.
I know, and they talk shit about each other to their friends. Yep. I don't like that.
That's important. I think the way you talk about your significant other, you should never trash them publicly or privately to your friends. Like, you should always
never
speak about them kindly, because that bleeds into your relationship.
Exactly. And if you're unhappy, just fucking leave.
Yeah.
Talk that shit anonymously on the internet.
I mean, talk about the easiest solution to a problem that nobody wants to take.
Yeah.
People just stay in relationships when they could just leave
because
them.
they're addicted to that shit.
Yeah, well, it's just people are uncomfortable with any kind of change. You'd rather stay in a shitty relationship than face the prospect of potentially not being in one at all and not knowing what's going to happen.
The rent be high.
Yeah, now living costs are high, so you're staying with people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think that's the way old couples are. Like, once you get a certain level of living in a house, like, we're going to break up and be living in apartments when we're 55. If you've been in a house that you raised your kids in and shit, like, there's like, no, someone's murdering their way out of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're like, but then even older couples like my grandparents or whatever, like they grew up in an era when it wasn't easy to leave relationships, so you had to resolve the conflicts.
Yeah.
And they've learned to deal with it and get over it. Like, they might have fallen in and out of love as a couple over 50 years of marriage, but they stuck it out and formed an actual partnership and a bond through that, because there was no way out. Now it's like, especially like since the 70s and 80s when fucking divorce rates started to skyrocket. It's like fucking, people stay together just because.
Once we started allowing them to vote and have their own credit cards and bank accounts, it's surprising.
Yeah, exactly.
Surprising the choices they made.
Yeah. Did you know this? Nacya? So, since before 1974, women in the United States couldn't have credit cards.
Yeah, I know.
Or bank accounts in their own name.
So it's quite common sense why they stayed.
Yeah, but it's also, I also thought in my head, I'm like, man, what a fucking, could you imagine being debt free? Like, women really fucked that up for themselves. Like, because if you could have any credit cards or bank account, like you have no debt. I feel like most women now are carrying fucking debt. Like just like every other American.
But I feel like that is the same thing of being with a guy for money. It
is. Well, then you're stuck. Yeah, that is true. There's pros and cons to it, I guess. Pros and cons.
Try buying property with no credit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They couldn't own any property, which is wild, unless like your husband left it to you in a will.
Which is
insane. Which is why I bet back in the day women were killing their husbands on the sneak. Back before they had good forensics, a lot of poisonings going on out there.
A lot of poisonings happening.
Yeah. That's the right way to do it. To poison a guy slowly, make it look like he has some other disease.
Can you imagine how hot that was for her? She'd be like, "Oh, honey, do you like this bone broth?"
Yeah, right. Slowly killing him with arsenic or something.
Yeah, drink it.
Drink it. Yeah.
All of a sudden, hits his super skinny Brad Pitt Fight Club body.
Yeah, right.
He's hot, but he's almost dead.
Yeah, he's hot. Yeah, the cancer's eating him away slowly. So when's the show come out?
So the first one is April 4th.
Where you guys going to film it? Is it being filmed, I imagine?
No, I'm just going to be working it out. It's going to be at the Yard Theater.
The Yard Theater?
The Yard Theater, yeah.
The Art Theater?
Yard.
Yard Theater. Where's that?
It's here in North Hollywood.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. How many shows are you going to do while you're working?
I don't know. I'm going to do this and then I'm going to see how it goes, because I did wrote a script, but I really like to improvise and just roll with it. So I'm going to see.
Oh, is this going to be your first go round?
This is going to be my first round, yeah. Because this is, with comedy, you have other people warming up a crowd and all this stuff. Well, this is just going to be me.
Okay, you ain't got any warm-up act?
No.
Okay. Oh, interesting. All right.
I'm just going to have fun. You know something?
Yeah. No, that's cool.
There's something I like to fail for some reason. Like if I'm doing a set and it's going really well, I think, oh, they just think I'm cute because I say things wrong in English, and so I'll say something purposely for me to bomb. Mm-hmm. So I see if they laugh, it's because they like me. If they don't laugh, it's because I was funny.
Yeah.
So I'll always do that.
Well, there is also too, like if you're only doing things that always work, then you're never working on new stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's part of it. Fucking, just life in general. Most of life is eating shit. I mean, like, I feel like most people fail more than they succeed. That's normal. And if you're not failing, then I feel like you're not trying. You're not kind of pushing it a little bit.
I met a very successful person that used to be a director, and we were talking comedy, and he spoke about 4 comedians. I only remember Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, and Ellen DeGeneres, and then somebody else I don't remember. But he used to say, like, I saw Jim Carrey bombing all the time. Yeah. Like, he did a lot of physicality stuff. And look at him. He's the best. He's he's a fucking goat, so... we just have to try things out. But I feel like in LA, it's scary to try new things because it's like, oh, somebody's watching me here. And then if they see you doing bad ones, I think that's how you are.
Yeah, that is a thing. And that's why, in a lot of ways, I was grateful I didn't start in LA, New York, just, start in Boston. You have more latitude to fuck up and try shit. And, no one's looking. And it's also a blue collar town. So it's not like everyone's, uppity about shit. It was just a little more easygoing. But you're right. I mean, out here, you never, like, if you're doing a set somewhere, you don't know who the fuck's going to be there. It's like it's the only impression I'll have of you. Like,
I had a meeting with Fox with the casting directors, and one of the ladies was like, "Yeah, we went to your show, The Riff, last year, and there was Tiffany Haddish, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I thought, "Oh fuck, maybe I sucked." And she goes, "You're a great host. We're gonna have some hosting things coming up. We'd love for you to try." I was like, "Okay, let's see." I don't like hosting. I fucking hate hosting.
Well, it's a whole different thing than doing your own comedy. It definitely, and some people are fucking great at it. I got a buddy who's like...
Some people are just born for it.
That's what I'm saying. I told a buddy of mine, I was like, if you're doing material, because he's like a fantastic host, like, if you're doing material, I know you're fucking struggling. He's just...
Yeah.
People just are drawn to him when he gets on stage as a host, and everyone just feels welcome. He's got that, like, that $1 million fucking Magic Johnson smile kind of thing. He's just a charismatic guy. And it's... Yeah, a guy like me, I gotta put an effort to host. I gotta put an effort as well. It's kind of like going to like a networking event for comedy. Like, oh fuck, you're like I gotta do this. I want to learn this skill, but it's not what I would choose to do.
I agree.
But that's the deal. So when does it come out? April 4th at the Yard Theater.
Yeah, April 4th at the Yard Theater.
I like the way you say theater. Theater.
Yeah, I never know how to say that word.
Yeah, well, I think the TH is what gets you, because you tried to say thin earlier. You said tin.
I did. Does that make sense?
Because you were talking about being on your period and how the line between wanting chocolate and killing somebody is very tin.
Yeah. How do you say it?
Thin.
Thin. How do you say that
thin.
Shit?
Say the.
The.
And in.
In.
Thin.
Thin.
Ten.
I love it. I love it.
Thin.
Thin.
It sounds like the way you're saying it to me.
Well, it's close enough. I'll give you an A for effort. How about that? All right, let's get into a little news before we get out of here for the week.
Sounds good.
I don't know if you heard about this, Mikey. Klarna lands a buy now, pay later deal with DoorDash ahead of its IPO. Klarna, the buy now, pay later lender that's headed for an initial public offering next week, signed a deal with DoorDash that allows DoorDash customers to pay for their food deliveries in installments.
Daddy's getting steaks.
So now, so DoorDash, you're just ordering takeout, like, $30-$40. But instead of paying now, Klarna is allowing you to fucking finance your takeout orders. And I think this is the sign of that we have a real fucking problem in the economy.
Yeah.
If people can't afford Chinese takeout in one, like,
and you can order the thing with Chinese takeout, you can order it on DoorDash. You can order something that's maybe $12, and then it's like $20.
I know, but now you can finance it over like 8 payments. So literally, instead of paying for your food now, you can pay for it for the next 3 months. Can you imagine? Like, I mean, are you? I know we're broke comics, but would you be financing your food deliveries? Financing late night Taco Bell that you had delivered through DoorDash?
That's insane.
The people who are going to make the biggest killing off this are the girls on dates, because it's going to be guys who wouldn't have been able to go on a date because they were too broke. Now they have a credit line to order some food and be like, "Hey girl, come on, we'll order some food. Just come on over." And now every broke ass dude can just like finance the first date.
Yeah, I was like, who is this desperate? But it's like, oh yeah, if you want to wow a chick, you take her to a place that you can't afford and pay for it in installments.
That's sad.
That's very sad.
That makes me feel bad for guys.
Yeah, well, I'm still gonna make them pay for the meal though.
Right?
You feel bad, but you're gonna take the free meal, right?
I mean, if I don't know about it, yeah.
If you don't know about it, when was the last time you paid for a guy's meal? Never.
I can remember.
Really, never? You've never done it?
I've done it, but like you'll never see me again.
Well, even if you're like dating the guy, like like it's your boyfriend, like I'll take care of this one.
I've done that, but this is the thing. I've done that before. When I look back, why the fuck did I do that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
because
like
it was his birthday and you loved him?
No.
That's what anal's for.
I don't do that. No, I will just make dinner myself. I'll make something that shows love.
Okay. That's very kind of you, and
I think
more thoughtful. I think
my gay best friend, he was having some financial issues, but he came here to see me, and I knew he was not going to have money to pay for dinner. But we went to this really nice restaurant, and I said, "I'll just give you my card, and you act like it's yours."
Oh, that's nice. Because
they always give the bill to the guy. So
yeah, that is a little fucked up. I mean, that they still do that, like I think it's a little presumptuous of the restaurant staff.
I don't think
it's 2025.
Yeah, and I think that's the right.
What happens when it's two gay guys? I wonder how they decide who they bring the chick.
They just put it in the middle.
Oh, you've been there? You've been in drag as a gay guy?
No, I'm just assuming.
Okay. You do sing with reasonable expectation? Okay. What about two chicks?
Hour-long meal as the server? You can tell who to give it to.
Well, yeah, what if it's two lesbians? Whoever has the shortest haircut gets the check?
Yeah. Whoever has a nose ring.
Yeah, whoever has a nose ring and a crew cut gets the fucking check.
The one in Jordans with a high fade.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whichever one of those lesbians has the tightest fade gets the check. I want to know if this is true. Single women are happier than single men, according to a recent study. Recent research indicates that single women report high levels of happiness and life satisfaction compared to single men. A study analyzing data from nearly 6,000 single individuals found that women are more content with their single status, express less desire for a romantic partner, and reported greater sexual satisfaction than male counterparts, even though they're single. You think that's true?
I really think it's true.
You're still single right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think it's true?
I think it's absolutely true. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
For multiple reasons. First, I didn't realize how much housework I used to do. I was always worried about cooking, cleaning, having everything looking perfect, like laundry. And he would just come over and put his clothes on the floor. My house is always clean. I'm like, oh my God, I get to come back to a clean house every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like my place is always clean. Also, a lot of men are terrible in bed. And I didn't know that.
It's not worth it.
I thought this is just what it is. I never even knew that there's better.
Yeah.
And now because I'm single and I was able to explore, I came to realize that, they just sucked.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the first thing you said though is a big thing. I've read about that. Like women who are in relationships with men, or especially married women, they're less sexually attracted to their husbands if their husbands don't help out with the housework.
Yeah, because then you just feel resentful.
You feel resentful, and you feel like you have another child instead of a partner. And they look down on you as a man for not pulling your own weight. Like women like men who pull their own fucking weight.
Yeah.
So it makes total sense, like that. The lack of attraction to a guy who's not helping out.
Yeah.
Although I'm surprised that I guess on the whole men would be less happy single because most men aren't good at attracting women. Like if a single guy who does well at ladies is probably fairly happy. But most guys aren't that guy. 90% of them can't get women because they're fucking awkward or they don't have the social skills, especially younger guys who don't approach women. So they're going to be more miserable because as a single guy, they're not dating at all. And I think it'd be interesting to see like how many of those people that were single and dating versus single and fucking celibate, and what the happiness level difference would be between those two. But I do think like single women do have more options, and I could see why they'd be happier. Plus, I mean, they have fucking way more sex toys. You go to fucking Target now. There's 400 types of vibrator.
Yeah.
There's no fleshlights in Target. For for the guys out there. You know, you got to fuck your couch like JD Vance or whatever.
Is that what you do? You fuck your couch? How does a guy even fuck a couch? You just
I don't know, but
pillow?
apparently our vice president had sex with his couch as a 13-year-old.
How do you know
allegedly.
that?
I think it was in a book. They allegedly, you know, was experimenting as an adolescent and wedged something between two couch cushions and fucked it. Guys are fucking weird. I would never do that. That's so strange. I would never ruin my couch.
Yes, you would.
You know. Well, yes, I would. Why would I?
I can tell you.
No way, man. I'm old school, you know?
God gave you 2 hands. What do you need a fucking
exactly.
couch for?
God gave me the best fucking tools. and no one's giving me a better hand job than me. I'll tell you that much right now.
There you go.
Well, you know, I've had more experience than every other woman that's touched me. So.
That's true. You know what you like.
Exactly. I don't have to discuss it. You know, it's already ingrained in there. How long are you looking for somebody right now? Or you think you're gonna stay single for a bit?
I'm not looking for anything. I'm just trying to make things work, and you know, I'm not completely close to it, but I'm not looking actively.
Okay, it's not like on the agenda.
Yeah.
For Nacya at the moment. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Here's a question for you, and this is another interesting study. It said people who answer texts quickly are more caring. Slow repliers are emotionally unavailable, according to a study. The study found that fast repliers were rated as more empathetic, caring, and engaging in relationships. People who took hours or days to respond were perceived as less interested, emotionally detached, and unreliable. And a quick reply, according to the research, signals interest, engagement, and prioritization, while delayed responses, especially without context, can make someone feel ignored, less important, or disconnected.
Yeah.
Are you a fast replier or a slow replier?
I'm a very fast replier.
Okay.
I think it's also because you know, as being an actress, if you get like an email to do an audition, you have to move fast.
Okay.
You know, you have to get things fast. I like to answer people fast because I like to be answered fast.
Okay.
If somebody takes a long time answering me, I'm like, ugh, whatever.
Are you a multiple texter? Like, do you respond with multiple messages, or you just get back with one?
No, just one. Why would I do multiple?
Because there's some people that like that. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves. When someone like
Sends you,
instead
like,
of putting
5,
one
6,
message
7.
with like the 2 sentences in it, they send 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like, what do you stop filling up my fucking shit?
Yeah. Then your phone is just vibrating.
Yeah, dinging, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think I'm an average replier. It depends. Like if I'm in the middle of something, no, I'm not gonna like you know, if I'm on the podcast, I'm not responding. If I'm driving, I don't like to do that because I don't want to crash. I had a friend's sister who fucking died from a texting while driving incident, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and if I'm in a meeting or if I'm doing something, no. But if I'm not busy, I'll respond. But it also depends on who. You know, like if it's Friday and it's work related, you ain't hearing back to me till Monday. But if it's personal, like
I'm not like that. I always answer.
Someone I want to hang out with or someone I got to meet up with. It's like the urgency. The urgency of the situation matters to me. But it's also not personal. Like, you know, like, I hope people don't take it personally from me.
Yeah, I don't answer if I got distracted in the middle, or sometimes I feel like I sent I think I sent the message and then I didn't. I think I did that to you once.
I do that all the time.
Where I open your message
when
and then I
open
see.
Respond and you thought you hit send and then close it, but it didn't actually.
It didn't send.
I do that way too much. I'm like, why didn't they respond? And I go and look, and the message, the out thing is still there. I didn't. I'm like, fuck.
I hate that.
And then it's a day and a half later. I'm like, oh my god, now I got to explain. I'm so sorry. I typed this. I'm so bad about that. That's one of my.
You never did that to me though.
No, well, you know, you're a friend that try to fucking respond to my friends. Like if you were, you know, my boss, I probably would have blown you off a few times.
That makes sense.
Oh man, so happy to get to see you again, man. It's
So,
too fucking long. I know. We got to do more regular. Got to do more regular so Wrigley and homeboy down there, Oslo, can hang out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like it's been a couple months.
Yeah, it's been almost 6. Like I said,
That's
too long,
insane.
Man. Too long. I'll have you on more regularly. What? So April 4th is coming out. What
April
else you got coming up?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I was gonna go to New York and do it in New York too, but I don't feel comfortable traveling.
Blood in the gill.
Yeah. You know what that means?
No, what does that mean?
So in Portugal, we have a saying. We say "sangue na guerra." That means blood in the gill. And growing up, people would tell that a lot to me, like, "Oh, she got blood in the gill," and I didn't understood what it meant. Understand what it meant. And you know, I'm from a fisherman's city.
Okay.
So when you catch a fish and you put it on a boat, it still has blood in the gill. It means it's still alive. Okay. So it's something that it's alive against all the odds.
Oh, okay. All right. I love the sayings in like foreign countries. They're so fucking wild. Dude, Germany has some words that mean, Germany and like Japan, they have like very specific words that mean very specific things. Like, I was trying to think of one. There was one like, There's a word for like in Japan for like people who like to stay home and eat by themselves. There's like a specific word for that. Like just funny shit. What do you got? Mike's laughing over there. He's got something on his mind.
Never.
Mike's like, wait a minute. I'll save this one for off air. Well, thanks for doing this, homegirl. Good seeing you as always.
Thank you for doing this. Yes, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
her
inviting me.
Of course. At Nacya Marreiro on everything, right?
Official Nacya Marreiro. Yeah, I had somebody like creating a fake profile of mine, so I had to add official, and I'm verified.
Uh-oh.
But it does happen. People create like fake pages. So annoying. Anyway, follow me.
Yeah, give her a follow. Obviously, check her out if you're in LA at the Yard Theater, April 4th. Follow me at Randy Valero. Follow the podcast at Ready Set Blow. All this shit I'm supposed to say at the beginning, but I don't. What do you got, Mikey?
You can follow my fake account of everyone trying to impersonate me.
That's right. Second Floor Studios, Mikey. Mike Nell, super producer. All right, guys, that's it for this week. We love you guys. Peace.
Bye.